Good afternoon. Thank you for joining today's webinar session on how to perform supply evaluation digitally with QDMS and Acumatica ERP system. My name is Kerem Dereceoğlu. I am with Bimser International, and I'm the managing director of the company. Today, we'll be talking about how you can manage your supply evaluations in a digital environment, paperless. Before we jump into the subject matter, I'd like to remind you that we have a YouTube channel where you can actually visit and see webinar recordings of our previous sessions. As you may know, we meet on every Monday, and we talk about quality management systems and quality management practices and how to comply with these quality management systems digitally with the help of QDMS, quality risk audit and compliance management system, interacting with Acumatica ERP system. So we invite you to our YouTube channel for you to see our previous webinar recordings. Also, we have an Eventbrite page, as you may know, and you can see the list of our executive webinar series on our Eventbrite page, and you can register for our coming webinars. On Mondays, we have the Acu-Quality webinar series. Next week, we'll be talking about calibration, and following week, we'll be talking about policies, procedures, SOPs, and other quality management requirements for documentation management digitally with the help of QDMS and Acumatica ERP system. As you may see in our on our Eventbrite page, we have a patch month, this month, next month, and we have all our webinar series actually scheduled till November. So we are looking forward to seeing our coming webinar series. Okay, great. So let me introduce my colleagues, and we also made some changes in our flow today. So we'll also talk about it as well. So today with me there is Alex Quattro from EMS Consulting. Alex will be addressing fundamentals of supply chain management as well as supply management. I have my colleague Sam Watt. He's our pre-sales software engineer. He'll be demonstrating QDMS and Acumatica ERP system today. And we also have Furkan Bas, our product manager of QDMS. And he's also with us to address questions that you may have. So today we made a change. What we like to do is typically on Mondays when we meet, we start with Alex and then we continue with demonstrations. Today we are making some changes. We're going to start with the demonstration, and then we'll invite Alex to talk about fundamentals of supplier evaluation and also supply chain management. Okay, great. So it is time for show and tell. Now typically we do the show and tell demonstration later in the webinar, but today we make a change and then we decide to do it earlier in the webinar. So some notes about QDMS, our quality risk audit and compliance management software. On the right side of the slide, you can see some notes. So QDMS is cloud. It works on cloud. It works on-premise server, so it has the latest technology. It's been in the market since 1998. It is multi-language, multi-currency. Also, it is modular. Right now, we have more than 1,000 corporate customers of QDMS, so it's a solid system, very reliable. We have a lot of references as you see on the screen, very reputable references. And we have more than 1 million professional users of QDMS. Most of them are quality managers or compliance managers. With the help of QDMS, companies can comply with many different quality management systems, such as ISO 9001, ISO 13485 in medical device industry. In food and beverage industry, typically we see ISO 22000 or SQF or BRC requirements. You can comply also those requirements digitally with the help of QDMS. If you are in pharma or healthcare industry, highly likely you are complying with GMP and FDA requirements. You can also manage those on QDMS. In this show and tell, in this demo session, we'll be addressing audit management module for supply evaluation. We'll be talking about quality control operations, especially we designed it for Acumatica ERP, and we'll demonstrate it to you. We also have corrective action management and native mobile app demonstrations in mind. Just a reminder, QDMS is a standalone solution that is ready to run independently as a standalone solution. However, since we are as Bimser International and ISV of Acumatica, and QDMS is a certified solution of Acumatica. In this demo session, we'll be demonstrating QDMS to you in the same screens of Acumatica ERP system. And in coming minutes of our webinar, we'll be also talking about our company, we'll be also talking about our relationship with Acumatica ecosystem and more. Now I'd like to invite you to watch our demonstration, and I'd like to hand it over to Sam. Sam is our pre-sales software engineer, and he'll be showing you QDMS and Acumatica interacting together, starting with supplier evaluations. Sam, are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, great. Right after Sam, we'll be inviting Alex, and we'll be talking about fundamentals of supplier management and supply chain management. Sam, please take over screen when you're ready.
Sure. Okay. And can you see your Acumatica homepage?
Yes, it's perfect. Please continue. Thank you.
Nice. And thank you for joining today's webinar. This is Sam at Bimser International. So this is the homepage of Acumatica, and we have QDMS, our quality, risk, audit, and compliance management system integrated with Acumatica, so that you can see QDMS working on the same page in Acumatica page. So what you will see next is QDMS in this frame of Acumatica's page, and also we integrate the employee information, stock item information, and also the customer information of Acumatica with QDMS. So this is the home screen of QDMS. Right after you log in, you can find all the pending tasks and requests for approval. And you can get a quick connection to those requests. For example, the document is waiting for my approval. Then I can get a quick connection and start managing this request. QDMS is a permission-based system. Not everyone can see everything in the system, like the module in the main menu. You will have certain permission based on your role, position, profession, department, or group, so that you will see what you are supposed to do. And in this main menu, you can see QDMS provides over 30 modules, and you can pick and choose the module that you want to have on your server, as QDMS is a modular system, so that you can install the one that you're interested in, or the one that you want to have. And today, I will show you the audit module, which you can use as a supplier evaluation. And in this module, you can create your audit planning. And by the way, this audit module, you can use it as a internal use or external use. As I mentioned, like we can have this module for evaluating our suppliers, vendors, or subcontractors. Also, you can use this audit module for internal audit as well. So first of all, in this module, we can create our audit planning. And the planning is like the goal that we want to achieve. For example, we have a supplier audit plan. And then we can create the audit item, which is the objectives that help you to achieve your goal. So for example, we have 5 different suppliers. Then in this supplier audit plan, we can create 5 different items for every single supplier. And in terms of creating the audit item, then you can pick and choose the audit date and also the finish date. In addition, you can pick and choose the audit time that you want to audit to your supplier. For example, from 9 to 10, After that, you can enter the audit subject. For example, what you are going to audit this supplier. For example, like the efficiency, for example, or you can enter just supplier evaluation in overall, for example. And then you can assign this audit item to an auditor who and also invite the auditee, which is the supplier or the representative of your suppliers. And any attachment that you want to attach with this audit item, you can upload this in as an attachment into the QDMS, so that this document can be a reference for the auditor. After that, we can save this, and this audit item will be sent to the auditor and also the auditee. And other important features in this module is we can always pick and choose the questions as a reference for the auditor from a question pool, which means you don't have to prepare like 5 pages of paper for auditing your supplier. And instead, you can pick and choose the question as a reference for the auditor, and the auditor can enter the answer from the auditee, which means your supplier, in the system. And anytime you can pull up the record of all the audit items that you have in this module. You can use the reporting tool, which allows you to create the verdict report. For example, the audit options report or the findings by different by your audits, so that you can create your audit report here, and also use our graphical reporting tool, which allows you to create your graphical report, like what you want to see in this graphical report. Like I want to separate by department and set up the time frame in this graphical report, like an annual report starting from January 1st, 2019. And then we can generate our report, and all the data will be shown in a bar chart and also in a table. You are more than welcome to export your report into Excel, PDF, or image file for sharing with any responsible parties. So this graphical report and all the reporting tool in QDMS helped you to keep tracking the performance and also all the audit operations that you have carried out since you start using QDMS. So the next I want to show you is the QC, the quality control process that we have in QDMS, which is also integrated with Acumatica. So that we can come to the Acumatica main menu, and you will see the QC app that we have here. And this is the QDMS extension, which we can digitize the form that you use on daily basis, as you're managing on paper or in Excel sheet, so that we can digitize your form and also the business process on in our system. So this is the QC process, which allows you to carry out the quality inspection process. And this is one of the forms that we put together as an example. And please keep in mind that we can always update the design of your form that you can see on this user interface, and also update the workflow for this business process. And this is the workflow for this quality control process. And again, we can always update it based upon the actual operations of your company. But for this example, we will start our process as the green arrow is pointing at, and let me zoom in And then you will see after we set up the document or the form, we will send this to the purchase manager. After that, it will be sent to the lab for the quality control tests. After that, we will send this back for the responsible person, which is the document owner or the one who start this process. And at last, very last step is we will send all the information to Acumatica. Choose the PO, which is coming from Acumatica, so that you can find the exact same information that you can see in Acumatica or in QDMS. So now we can pick and choose the PO, and all the related information will be pulled from Acumatica to QDMS. And you can see the date and the type, the vendor name, and also all the item in this PO. After that, we can set up our expiration date. Considering like the material, it will be expired, especially for the industry like chemical industry, for example, so that we have to keep checking the status and also the condition of our material. And you can ask QDMS to send you a reminder regarding this expiration date and set up how many weeks you want to receive the reminder ahead the expiration date. After that, we can send this, and it will be sent to the approver, who will be Janet, the purchase manager. And after that, we will send this to the lab test according to this workflow scheme that I've just showed you. And now I'm going to switch my account to Janet, which this features is not available for regular user, as I am now logging in as the admin so that I can switch between different user accounts as for your reference. And now I can see all the pending tasks on the home screen. Then I can pull up the request, the one that I've just filed in, which is 1022 with the document date is June 6th. And now I can review it and approve it. After that, I can switch back to my own account, and I'm going to go to the lab test technician, so that I can log in there and find the one that we have just approved, and we are going to do the lab test there. So I can pull up the mail or the request, and then start managing this one with reviewing the lab info and also the PM general information, and then enter the inspection here. So for example, I have 99 for each, and you can see a reference range here on the right, which we can always update this range based upon the actual inspection standard or criteria that you have in your company. And now you will see most of the inspection results are beyond the reference range. And what you will see is those will be highlighted in red color in order to get your attention. And as I will log in as the lab manager, I will see all that result, which is out of the range as highlighted. So I'm now logging as the lab manager. Excuse me. Let me switch back, not this one. My apology. And I'm going to switch to Michael Scala. Okay. And then I will see the pending task on the home page, and I can pull this up and see what the technician enters. So we will see all the result. 99 is what I've just entered, and they're out of range and they're highlighted, so that I can either approve the result or request a new test in order to make sure those results coming from a proper test. And then I can approve it, for example. And then switch back my account to this flow starter, which is the account that I start the process. And now I can find out all my quality control process, since all of them will be saved in an archive of in QDMS. But at this point I have to approve it, because the lab test is just approved it, and I have to review it. And after that, I can review it and pull up the lab test here and review the lab test. And you will see the result right here is failed, because initially we set up one of those inspection results is out of range. The whole inspection will be failed. So this is how we set up in the condition. And this is one of the conditions that we can always update based on the need of your company. But now we want to approve it as and create a receipt in Acumatica, so that this will be sent to Acumatica and saved in and update the warehouse information of this particular stock item. And you will see here the workflow is finished, and we have created a purchase receipt in Acumatica. And in QDMS, we can also find this record in an archive, since those will be saved in QDMS. And I'm now getting back to this QC process and go to the QC archive. And in this archive, I can use the search bars provided on the top. For example, I want to see what is failed in the quality control process. And we can always pull this up and review the forms that we filled up and also the lab tests. And as this is failed in the inspection, so that we can use this button and create a new corrective action record in QDMS. And QDMS will automatically create a corrective action record here, which I will show you step by step how to manage your non-conformity and corrective action here. And next, what we can do is I am now logging in as Leon Kennedy, who is the responsible person of all this out of spec product that we receive, so that I can come to my home page and we can go to the corrective action, which is waiting for me to review and file my first progress report. So these are all of those, and I can come here and generate our corrective action. So you will see the non-conformity is purchase item QC failed with the PO number and also the vendor name. And in this solution team, Leon Kennedy, which is my account, is now the team leader of the solution team, so that I have to file my first progress report and make sure what happened and if it is accurate or correct regarding this non-conformity. After that, I can save this, and this first progress report will be saved, and I can now do my root cause analysis and pick and choose the root cause. So for example, for this one, it is lack of the training procedures. And then we can copy and paste and enter the description of this root cause, like lack of training procedures for the worker on the ground, for example. And then we can save this, and this root cause will be saved in the corrective action module. And now, as I am now the solution team leader, or one of the members in the solution team, then we have to define certain action in order to cope with the root cause. So for example, we want to have a corrective action, and who will be the action performer? Let me zoom in. So let's say I'm going to pick myself, Leon Kennedy again. And what kind of action that we need, like put together the updated training procedure. And then we can set up a due date for this action performer, like coming Friday. And we can pick and choose the root cause that we are dealing with. And then we can attach any document that can be a reference for this for the action performer. Like I'm going to enter a new, for example, a training plan, or we can enter the root cause analysis report. After that, we can save this, and it will be saved and sent to the action performer. So as I'm now logged in as Leon Kennedy, so that I can find my pending task on the home screen, like the corrective action that's waiting for me to perform. And now I can log in and go to this action. And in case that we perform certain action, so that we have to update the status here with perform the action. And also you can request an extension if you couldn't finish it by the due date. But now we will update this, and we have put together the updated training procedures, and we can upload our new procedure here, for example, and then update the status of this action. And this action will be updated as done. And now, as the leader of this corrective action, we can also create a follow-up action or close this corrective action accordingly with entering the confirmation note, and also if there's any cost is related or is cost our company, so that you can enter the corrective action costs here. And in this module, we can come back and find all the corrective action module, all the corrective action record that we have in the system. So for example, this is the one, the purchase item QC fail is the one that we have just managed. And we can always generate a quick report and show all the items that we have for this corrective action record, like the non-conformity description, the solution team, first progress report, the root cause analysis, and also the action that we have defined in order to cope with this root cause, and also the follow-up and closing the corrective action. So you can connect to QDMS on your web browser, like how you can connect to Acumatica, I would say, since after deploying QDMS on your on-premise server or on your cloud server, you can use your web browser and connect to QDMS and Acumatica. And also, you can connect to QDMS by using your mobile or by your handheld device, like your smartphone or tablet. So what you will see on the screen is QDMS working on my Android device, which is my smartphone. And you can download QDMS on Google Play Store or App Store for iOS device, since QDMS support or is available for both for all the devices running in both operating system. And you can find all the pending tasks right after you log into your QDMS mobile. And also you can see the main menu, the exact same main menu on that you can see on the web browser. The reason why, because the mobile application and also the one that you can see in the web browser, they are going to and coming from the same database, so that you can find the exact same data set that you can see in each approach. So for example, the audit that is waiting that I have to perform, then I can pick and choose. So think about, like, we are having a random audit to the workers on the ground or in certain manufacturing site or construction site, so that I can pull this up right away and enter all the question answer from the auditee and upload any document that we have for this audit, like this one. And then we can enter the answer. So you can see the question, and then you can ask the auditee and then enter the answer here. So for example, this is an answer, and attach any document from your gallery, or you can take a picture. For example, we find certain something wrong with the machinery, then we can take our picture here. And it's come to the end of my demonstration. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Sam. Let's go back to our main screen of our webinar. Okay, great insights, much appreciated. So as Sam demonstrated, there are different ways to run a supplier evaluation, for example. So for that purpose, we typically utilize audit management module or QDMS. Also, during our quality control operations, they may also trigger certain supply evaluation or corrective actions towards vendors, for example. That's also what Sam demonstrated. As for quality control processes, that's actually pretty, I would say, company specific. We have been seeing many different approaches for quality control processes. So what we do is simply with our workflow engine, working with Acumatica seamlessly, we automate that process based on the customer's quality management system, which is very, very helpful. Sam, thank you so much for the demonstration. Now I'd like to invite Alex Quattro from Emirates Consulting. Alex will be addressing fundamentals of supply chain management and also supply management. Alex, are you ready?
Yes. Hello, Kevin. And
hello.
Okay.
Please continue.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for joining this webinar. And thank you, Kevin, for inviting me to make this very brief presentation on really what I'm trying to focus here on. What does ISO, specifically ISO 9001, but it would apply to any of the ISOs, is what does ISO require as far as an organization, what the organization has to do to control the supply chain. Okay, so that's what I'm going to focus on. So before I get started, just a brief introduction about Emirates Consulting. And I'm the sole proprietor of Emirates Consulting, and I'm a PMP and also certified ISO 9001-2015 lead auditor. And I've established Emirates Consulting about 5 years ago after a lengthy career as a project manager in a large aerospace company, which is certified to the AS 9100 quality standards. So what I'm doing now is I'm supporting businesses to either achieve ISO certification or maintain it. And almost 2 years ago, I came across Bimser International, and I was introduced to the set of tools that Bimser has to support, ISO. Certainly, the QDMS tool is an outstanding tool in supporting all of the ISO activities. And as you may be aware, there's a lot of data that you're supposed to collect and to maintain your whole ISO processes. And certainly QDMS does a wonderful job in assisting you in keeping track and maintaining all that data to support all of your ISO related activities. Okay, so next slide, please. So again, I'm not going to really talk a lot about ISO. I just wanted to introduce ISO and its 7 quality management principles. And obviously, as you are aware, ISO focuses on quality and making the customer happy. And everything else is really structured to provide this customer satisfaction. Okay, so basically leadership has to be involved and running really the ISO quality management processes. The people have to be engaged. They have to understand what the quality objectives are. The whole organization has to be structured into all the activities have to be structured in processes so that all these processes are interrelated and integrated, and that becomes much more efficient as an organization. You have a much better results when you have integrated processes. Continuous improvement is also a very important aspect of ISO. And evidence-based decision-making is critical in ISO, because what it means is that management has to make decisions based on data that is collected and not taking just guesses as to what improvements to make. And the final principle is relationship management. Now here, this is where supplier management comes in. So what is the relationship management? Well, it affects obviously the customers, the regulatory organizations, and obviously all of your suppliers. And suppliers is a very, very important part of the ISO process. So let's go on to the next slide. So here is really how ISO works, and it is based on the Plan, Do, Check, Act cycle, which was developed by Deming, the quality guru. And so what it is basically it shows the various parts of ISO, and each one, as you can see in parentheses, it's numbered, and the number refer to the ISO clause, which are designated on the right-hand side of the screen. So, in effect, the organization should be continuously involved in a continuous improvement process following this PDCA cycle. So what I want to emphasize here is, where does the supply chain management come in? Okay, and I've shown on the diagram, I've added showing that it's pointing to the function, the operation function, which makes sense because this is where your product or service is being really developed, and this is where now you're using your the supplies, whatever form you acquiring your supplies to perform your operation. So this is Clause 8, which is operation. And so now on the next slide, we'll see what does specifically ISO require us to do in order to keep track, let's say, of all of your suppliers. Okay, so all of that is defined in ISO clause, and this is again refers to ISO 9001 and the 2015 version, clause 8.4, which is within the operational section. And the title of clause 8.4 is control of externally provided processes, products, and services. Okay, so what does that really mean? So processes is that if you, let's say, procure for a certain process, like for example, painting your enclosure or putting in a metal film, and let's say you have to meet certain requirements. So that is really considered a process. So now you have to make sure that your supplier is consistent with your requirements for whatever you've asked them to do as far as, you know, the process. The next one is products. Okay, so products is basically an old category which includes parts, subsystems. Sometimes even you may want to buy the whole product from the manufacturer on a build-to-print contract. So everything is being developed by an external source, and at the end, you may do some testing and put your label on it, but you're actually being delivered the whole system. So that's a product. So it varies from component parts to maybe subsystems or the entire system. And services, it also covers services. So let's say if you need a particular support, let's say mechanical engineering, and you want to subcontract mechanical engineering, well, that's also considered part of your supply chain. So let's look into, there's three subclauses, 8.4.1 through 8.4.3. So let's look at the first one. Point 1, general, okay, in that you are, as the organization, must explicitly define what are your expectations of your supplier or subcontractor in the case of a service. So that has to be clearly understood. What are you looking for? Clause 8.4.2 is the type and extent of control that you're going to impose on your supplier. So how much management do you intend to provide? What are the approval criteria of the product, the parts? And also, if required, what would be the post-delivery support that you would need from your supplier? And finally, clause 8.4.3 deals with the information or data that you are supposed to provide to your external supplier. And again, this is to make sure that the supplier or subcontractor fully understands what is expected of them and what they are supposed to deliver. So all the details have to be written as part of your subcontract. So now the question is, well, how do you, assess, and what do you assess in a supplier? And obviously, Sam had a great presentation on the tool, the QDMS tool, and how it can support your assessment or your audit of the supplier. But I want to really here talk about, well, what do you assess? When do you assess? Do you assess all of your suppliers? So the question is really, you have to make, as an organization, a decision as to who are you going to assess. Obviously, if you had using the same supplier successfully for the last 5 or 10 years and you had no problems at all with the delivery and the quality, no, there's no need to assess them. However, if you your supplier that you've been using for a long time, all of a sudden their quality, their performance, they're late in delivery. So there's something happening with the supply that they're not meeting all of your requirements. Then, yes, that's definitely a trigger point to do an evaluation or an audit of a supplier. Or if you're choosing a new supplier, certainly, you know, you may not know their track record, their reputation, and you may want to do an assessment. Also, very important is if you're dealing with a sole source supplier, in other words, they're the only one that can provide you with a certain part of or component, very important that you address all of the issues relating to that supplier. For example, what are you going to look at? Well, certainly production capacity. Can they, if let's say it's a new supplier and it's going to increase their workload, can they keep up with your demand? That's a very important aspect. Quality. Will they provide a quality product or service? Performance. Okay. What is their track record? Risk. Risk is obviously when I mentioned a sole source supplier, that's a big risk on your part. So what happens if the business has issues, or even if it fails? It happens. What are you going to do? So you have to make a decision whether you build a cushion stock, so you would have enough time to maybe look at alternate supply or develop an alternate supply. So those are the kind of issues that you have to address with your suppliers. And obviously, environmental risk, if they have any waste products, you have to know how they deal with that, how they dispose of them, because sometimes if they don't follow the regulations, they could be shut down by the regulatory organization. So you have to know if they're following all the rules. So those are the things that you would typically look at a supplier. Now, if your supplier is already certified to ISO, well, that makes life a little easier because at least they have a quality management system. So they would be able to provide you with information in a way that you can interpret, you know, more easily. Versus if they're not ISO certified, then it would take you a little more effort to look into their quality management system and make sure that it's all meets your requirements. So that's basically the extent of my presentation. And again, thank you very much for joining. And I'll pass it on back to Kevin.
Alex, thank you so much. Great insights, much appreciated. Thank you. Okay, great. So it looks like it's my turn now. This week, as I mentioned earlier, we made some changes in our lineup as to the order. So it is my turn now, and I'll talk about our company a little bit, and then I'll talk about QDMS a little bit, and then we'll address your questions about QDMS, about supply management, and so on. Okay, great. So we are Bimser International, and we are an enterprise software maker since 1998. We are based in New York. In essence, we help companies simplify their business processes, and we help companies adopt digital transformation. We are pretty active in various business communities, especially in the US. We are following ASQ, American Society for Quality, to be on top of any changes in quality management systems, standards, and expectations from these systems. Also, an important note, we have an internship program for university students. We call it University of Bimser International. We help university students learn how to do pre-sales engineering as well as software engineering. As Bimser International, we are based in New York, and we are a group of companies, as you see on the slide. We are also active in various parts of the world, especially in Europe, as you see. We are a group of companies. We are about 200 people. We are a global organization. We are an Acumatica independent software vendor. We are also active in various other ERP systems, as you see on the slide. Speaking of quality management systems, today we are also ISO 9001 certified and ISO 27001 certified. So we have policies and procedures in place. We also audit our suppliers. We also evaluate our suppliers, just like Alex mentioned and earlier. So that's very important for us to have these quality management system in place to make sure we always deliver the highest quality of projects, basically, for every single opportunity and project that we have. We are very close to Acumatica ERP ecosystem. We have been sponsoring and also participating in various events of Acumatica, as you see on the screen, from 2018, and 2022. And we are very happy with this partnership. We are very excited, and we are looking forward to further it. In Acumatica ERP ecosystem, we have 3 products certified. We have QDMS, as we talk about it today, our quality, risk, audit, and compliance management system that's certified. We have BEAM, that's our asset maintenance, facility, fleet, and energy management software that helps companies manage their machinery equipment and their facility management operations. And we also have contract manager solution running on our EBA platform. That is also a certified solution that helps companies manage their contracts in a digital environment, and that also has ready-made DocuSign integration available. And just like Sam illustrated and demonstrated earlier, right now QDMS is running in Acumatica screen, so you can use these both systems in one screen without jumping from one screen to another, which is very practical. Since 1998, we focus on these 4 products. In addition to EBA, QDMS, and BEAM, we also have Ensemble. Ensemble is our business process modeling and performance management software. So that is important to mention that we have been developing our products since 1998. That's why we have deployed many different projects. As for QDMS, we focus on QDMS today. We have deployed more than 1,000 projects. That also refers to actually more or less our customers that we have using QDMS, and we have more than 1 million users, professional users of QDMS. We have many different references, reputable references, I must say. As you see on the screen, we work with 3M, we work with Henkel, Ford, we work with DHL, Bridgestone, Renault-Nissan Alliance, and many other reputable companies and institutions worldwide. Okay, so let's talk about digital transformation quality management a little bit. For that, we have a framework called Proactive Quality Management Framework that basically helps companies manage their quality management systems. In a digital environment, we have assurance, we have control, and we have also all these systems running in a digital environment with the help of QDMS. So when we say assurance, basically we are referring to our quality management system in place. You may be compliant with ISO, you may be compliant with AS9100, HKF, or BRC, or any other quality management system. That's basically referring to assurance. Control is basically having you performing control points in your operations. That may be a manufacturing operation, that may be a server, that may be distribution. So each control point that you have, you can digitize these, and you can link it to your quality management system. Sam actually demonstrated nicely earlier in our webinar. You can run a quality control operation digitally with QDMS, and if there is any irregularity, there is something out of spec that doesn't actually meet with your expectations, then you can actually take action on QDMS as a corrective action, which is a path to continuous improvement, which is very, very important. And Predict refers to smart sensors and other equipment for you to remotely monitor your equipment, machinery, or your work environment as to temperature, humidity, and so on. And DMS is designed to address all these in a digital environment. Let's talk about QDMS a little bit before we address your questions. This is the page of QDMS in Acumatica marketplace that's available and certified for Acumatica ERP system. QDMS is a very modern architecture, very similar to Acumatica. It works on cloud, it works on-premise servers of your choice, and it is already integrated with Acumatica to pull and push data. Furthermore, it is ready to integrate with any other system that you may have at your company. QDMS links to CRM systems, if you have manufacturing execution systems, and in short, QDMS can integrate. Also, if you have any smart sensors, QDMS can also integrate to help you automate your quality management system related tasks and operations. With the help of QDMS, you can comply with any quality management system, ISO, SQF, BRC. If you're in automobile industry, for example, you may be compliant with IATF, which is very typical. You can manage that on QDMS digitally. If you're in the food and beverage industry, SQF, BRC, or ISO 22000s are actually a very similar quality management system that we see. You can comply and manage those systems on QDMS. Once we train you for QDMS, typically we work with quality management departments. Once we train the quality management teams, I will say they manage QDMS by themselves. They don't need that much of an IT support or consultant support, because the system is very actually user-friendly and very straightforward, as you saw earlier in our demonstration. QDMS is permission-based. Not everyone can see everything. We designed the permission system right in the software yourself, which is very easy to do. That is web-based, meaning once we deploy it on your cloud account or your on-premise server, QDMS, you can access it by using any web browser, basically. That's very easy. That's why we call it web-based. You can access it anywhere in the world, whether you are at home, you're at the office, or you are having a business trip. QDMS has a modular structure. You can pick and choose what module you like. That's very actually flexible. Typically, our customers get a bunch of it, but if you like to start with a couple of modules and get more modules, that's also perfectly fine. Typically, all these quality management systems, ISO 9001, 14000, and others, they typically have documentation requirements. They have corrective action requirements for continuous improvement. They want you to record and investigate customer complaints, for example. Audits are very important for internal and external audits, auditing your suppliers, or auditing yourselves. Cross-department audits are very important. So all these can be managed. As we know, risk management became mandatory with ISO 9001, the latest edition. So we also have different risk management modules, process risk management, IT risk management, and so on. We have more than 30 modules available, and they are all available for you. It's for your choice. Okay, great. So let's address some questions as we have been receiving them. Let me see. So one of the questions I received is, let's see, what is the Acumatica QDMS integration points? Okay, so Sam, my colleague, actually demonstrated earlier. We have many different integration points ready-made with QDMS and Acumatica. First of all, we have the master data. We are pulling information, customer information, vendor information, and product information into QDMS. Okay, that's as a start. So you have the foundational, the master data available in QDMS for you to manage your quality management system. In addition, Sam also showed that we also have purchase orders integration ready-made with Acumatica. And if you have another integration point in mind, we can also make it happen. It's pretty easy, honestly, with Acumatica and QDMS. As I mentioned, these are both modern technologies. They use to pull web services and link them to each other. So based on any project that we are running, we basically further these integration points, which is pretty straightforward for us. Is QDMS cloud-based or it's on-premise based? That's also a good question. QDMS works both on cloud as well as on-premise servers. So that is up to you. Either we deploy it on cloud or on-premise server. That's web-based. Simply, you can access it from anywhere. Sam, it looks like a question for you. Is there any mobile app available for QDMS?
Yes, that's a nice question. So yes, the mobile application is available for Android and iOS device, as I've demonstrated in my session, so that you can download QDMS mobile from the Google Play Store for the Android device, and also download QDMS from the App Store for your iOS device, so that you can connect to QDMS by using your handheld device like your smartphone or tablet, and connect QDMS anytime and anywhere by using the handheld device with the internet connection.
Thank you, Sam. Okay, one final question. We are in medical device industry. We manufacture medical device. Can we use QDMS to evaluate our suppliers? Okay, that's also a good question. So if you are in medical device industry, highly likely you are complying with ISO 13485. And my answer is yes. Any supply evaluation form or process or procedure that you have based on your ISO 13485 quality management system, you can manage QDMS. You can manage it on QDMS digitally. Basically, any supply evaluations you can use audit management module as well as quality control module that Sam demonstrated earlier can be very helpful for you to digitize and manage your supply evaluation processes in your industry, which is medical device industry, as you mentioned. Thank you so much. Great questions. Much appreciated. Before we end our webinar, I would like to remind you our YouTube channel. And we have a playlist in our YouTube channel, the Bimser International YouTube channel. And in the playlist, you can see the recordings of our previous webinar sessions for Acu-Quality webinar series. So you can watch and learn about good manufacturing practices, ISO 9001 fundamentals, HPF, ISO 22000 for food and beverage industry, and other industries, for example, as I listed on the screen. Today was our actually 12th part 12 for Acu-Quality webinar series. It's been a while, and we'll continue next week with the 13th edition. Every Monday we are arranging it, and we are scheduling this webinar series. Starting not next week, but the following week, we'll change it and we'll move it to Tuesdays. So it's going to be Quality Tuesdays instead of Quality Mondays, and we'll be addressing more and more Acu-Quality webinar series with QDMS and Acumatica ERP system running together. We are also inviting you to our Eventbrite page to review our executive webinar lineup, and we also invite you to register our coming executive webinar series. I would like to thank you for your time. I appreciate it. I'd like to also thank our panelists. Alex, thank you very much for insights. Much appreciated about fundamentals of supply chain management and supplier management. And thank you very much for demonstration. Much appreciated. And I'd like to also thank our attendees for joining our webinars today. And we are looking forward to seeing you in our coming executive webinar session. Thank you very much and have a nice day.